really amazing how many people are here and how many qualifications, how many skills and how many nationalities.
We're here for the first time and we've already talked to a lot of people, and organization is great. Everyone's very friendly.
I was very positively surprised that so many visitors came here to the fair to get in contact with us as employer.
It's great. I love it. I got to meet a lot of people from all around the world. The food is great and the venue is amazing. Everyone's so nice.
The environment is relaxed, like there's no that kind of like afraid to approach people and to engage in a conversation.
It's very good, very well organized, and I've met a lot of interesting people.
I had a great experience. I was able to meet so many interesting people. You can really see that they are looking for improvements on their careers, and we are really looking forward to the opportunity of meeting some of them back in our office.
A lot of people who were very interested in details, and I like to answer detailed questions and are not only scratching on the surface, so that was pretty cool.
I'm very surprised by the quality of the potential candidates. They're all very interested, very motivated, and it's very positive.
I think it's great. It's very nice. There's a lot more people than I expected, but I'm having great conversations with everybody, and it's amazing to get to know that many people at once.
I was at the Tech Jobs Fair in Berlin, and I love coming out here. You get to meet so many different faces, and I think people come from all over the world just to get to not only know your company, but just what's going on in Vienna, and just to see this beautiful city.
It's as enriching for me as a participant as it is for the visitors. Very high level, very ambitious people here today. It's fantastic.
I've literally met so many incredible people. I never thought I could network with so many people. I think I've added another 300 people on LinkedIn. Just being here today, it feels like. I think it's one of the best job fairs I've ever been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Hired in Denmark. This is an exciting webinar hosted by Tech Jobs Fair, and I am here to welcome you on behalf of the entire team of Tech Jobs Fair. This is Tripti Sinha, your host for today. Today, we aim to connect talent with opportunities in the tech industry, but not directly, but through the sessions that will be conducted in this webinar by our industry experts. But before we begin the webinar, I want to thank everyone who's joining us today for an inspiring session led by professionals who will share their insights and knowledge. You will have a better understanding of the hiring process in Denmark and will receive valuable tips to help you secure your next dream job. Today, our experts will guide you through key strategies for success. Whether you're just starting your career or growing your career, these sessions will definitely equip you with the tools to succeed in Denmark's competitive tech job market. Well, be sure to drop your comments and be an active participant throughout the webinar. And if you have any questions, any queries, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and our speakers are here today to provide the answers. So I encourage you to actively participate in all of the sessions and the entire webinar. Let's get the webinar started by welcoming Ms. Bindu Kalwaria, Head of Business and Growth at Tech Jobs Fair, to address the gathering. Hello, Bindu. How are you doing today?
Hello, Tripti. Thank you so much. I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much. So let's not waste any time, right? And get this webinar started. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone. My name is Bindu Kalvadia. I'm a part of Tech Jobs Fair and happy to welcome you all to our this edition of Tech Jobs Fair. We have organized many editions worldwide. This is going to be our 47th edition of Tech Job Fair Global. This event is a combination of a couple of sessions, where we have invited a couple of experts who are expert in their industry and their sector, and as well as the attendees and our entire team, definitely. So in this, as Tripti just mentioned, in this event, you will be making valuable connections and having a career guideline, how you can do better or do well in your job search, as well as how you will be able to explore the Denmark market if you are currently in the market or outside from the market. So definitely the job market will be explored by the attendee of this event with the help of our motivational speakers and as well as our career guidance. So yes, we do have Nisha with us, who is the founder of Career Club Denmark, as well as Leslie. And I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing some names not exactly, but yes, thank you so much for your presence, Leslie. So she is the founder of English Job Denmark. And so I'm sure these two sessions are going to give you a lot of information about the career guideline, as well as we do have Diana Lund also, who will be sharing more about the talent and mindset. She's a coach actually, so she will be sharing more about what is the mindset and how you can, get more insights. You can uncover the more layers of this topic, as well as you will also have a session from an expert, Robert Fabrin also, who is an expert like how you can search your job in a very appropriate way, as well as Helena. So thank you so much everyone for the presence. Helena is a community lead of CPHUX. So thank you so much everyone for your presence, and as well as yes, as I just mentioned, make your valuable connection at this event, get more insight about the market, and this is a contribution of Tech Jobs Fair in this sustainability, towards this sustainability, I can say. So that we can contribute in your career journey and you can have more insights about the sector and in the recruiting sector, I can say. So everyone, please enjoy this event, this webinar. And yes, thank you so much for your presence. Yes, Tripti. Yeah, just Tripti mentioned, your questions will be definitely answered. So please do not miss writing them in the chat section. See, if you are making it more interactive, you will be really getting more helps from our expert and as well as from our team. So yes, Tripti, this is going to be really interesting session for our audience.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for making this happen, Tripti, as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all the tips that we'll see throughout the webinar today, and already giving them the context of the webinar. And thank you for joining us and addressing the webinar. It was a pleasure having you, Bindu, and I hope you will enjoy the webinar and the sessions as well. So thank you once again.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Tripti. Bye-bye, for amazing doing this every time.
Bye-bye.
I love it. Okay, bye. Ciao. Take care.
Awesome. So I believe we are all set for the speaking session marathon, right? So sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy these amazing sessions lined up for you all. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our first speaker and my favorite speaker, Miss Nisha Denmark. She is a certified career coach with over 12 years of experience as a hiring manager, helping internationals grow their careers. She also founded CareerClub.dk, a network of over 6,000 career women from 98 countries in Denmark. That's amazing. Hi, Nisha. Welcome, and how are you?
Hi, dear Tripti. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm gonna have to go back and see the recording, because that warms my heart on a cold Danish winter day. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always pleasure having you and listening to you, right? So I wouldn't take much of your time, and let's get this webinar started with some amazing presentation. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. And I will just put up my presentation here so we can get started, because I would very much like to tell you all how important, how much value there is if you start calling on the jobs you really, really want. So let's just get started, and I hope that you will put a lot of questions in the chat, and also give all of us some ideas to what can you actually ask in a call. But we get back to that in a moment. To start with, I like to tell you why you should call, and also who am I to tell you to call. I also like to go through what to do before you make the call, what to do in the call, and what to do after. And then I brought a little surprise, my secret after the rejection call. So that's some kind of cliffhanger that I hope you will stay to get. And of course, I also give some examples of really terrible calls, questions to ask when you call, and also really good examples. So we have a little to go by, but I'd like to hear yours as well. But first of all, why should you call? There is a big survey. Bally's AR is a big recruitment company, analytical company as well, that joins a report every year. And here they stated, the last thing I saw of this was that they stated that 90% of hiring managers likes when you call. So they also asked, who does it? How many actually do those calls, now that we know that 90% like it, if they put their phone number, if it's intelligent questions, but I get to that in a moment. But 90% likes when you call. Then they ask how many actually call, and only 7% does. So that tells me that if you start to do this, you are 93% ahead of all the other candidates in your dream jobs. So why not do that, right? First of all, my reason for why is to tell you this is a touch point. It's an extra feeling of who are you as a personality when you call me, when I have, for example, a job post open. So you are no longer just a name on a paper amongst all the other names. You are a voice. You are an experience in my ear, and that's important. That's a really good way to stand out, and it gets easier for me to get a feeling of you and remember you when it's time to sort all the applications into the yes and the unfortunately no pile. But it also helps you clarify some of the requirements, because let's be honest, when I was a hiring manager for those 12 years, I actually was only 60% of the time allowed, not even actually, 60% of the time I was not allowed to write the job ad myself. So I was the hiring manager. This was my department that we needed a new person on, but I was not allowed to write the job post myself. That would be HR up there, who doesn't know so much about what's going on the floor on my department. Or it could be a global standard. If it's a big company, they have these kind of global standard job ads that I wasn't allowed to add anything to. It could also be my CEO and a third-party recruiter, a headhunter, that made this together and asked, Nisha, do you have anything to add to this job post? But just keep in mind that the one who actually receiving your job applications are often not the one who actually wrote the job ad, the job post. So that's a really good reason to call and hear from the horse's own mouth, what do you want, right? It's also a way to get some insider information, because a job post is public. the competitors, the press, the world can see everything they write. So they are not. It's not possible to write everything there. Some of the things it's possible for me to share in a call, in a confident call, but to write it out publicly, we don't always do that. So there are some things, some inside information also to get. And you could also, end, if it was a lovely call you had, why not end with saying, can I refer to this call in my application? So that will automatically make you stand out when you write the first thing in the following email or your cover letter. Thank you for a lovely conversation. I can understand that this is your need, or based on this wonderful conversation with Susanne Rasmussen, this is, I can understand that this is your need. I can help you succeed with this, blah, 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 and take the cover letter from there. So I hope now that I convinced you all to start calling on the jobs you really, really want, at least. And quickly, let me just introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. Who am I to tell you this about calling on the job? As Tripti say, I have been a hiring manager for more than 12 years. So I have been the one receiving all of these calls. So I'm a founder of Career Club DK, where I also advise about calling, and I hear a lot of good tips on how the ladies of the club have succeeded with those calls and getting the jobs. Let's go to get started on what should you do before the call, in the call, and after the call. First of all, let's start with what the call is not meant to be. It's not meant to be an opportunity for you to self-promote too much. Of course, you want to give a good impression, but I have had calls where they start with saying, is it okay that I speak 7 languages? Or is it okay that I have, this and this degree? Where I'm like, of course, it's okay. You just go ahead and apply. Was there any question in that? So make sure that you don't call to self-promote too much. Call to give a good impression, but not self-promote yet. That all comes in the cover letter and in the CV and all that stuff in the interview as well. Second of all, don't ask questions that doesn't benefit you. Now it's the other side of the scale. Instead of bragging, some people actually call and say, is it okay I don't speak Danish yet? Is it okay I only have 5 years of experience or 2 years of experience in that instead of 7? And that's a no-go for sure. Don't call me and make me aware of things that you don't have. Call and ask questions. But don't come up with apologies as well. Say, oh, I'm so sorry to disturb you. I just want to understand correctly. Things that gives that sense that you feel that you are disturbing them, because you are so not disturbing them. Remember that 90% likes it. They even say that when they put their number. And also people who answer their phone in a recruitment process, it's their job. Really, they get money. They get their salary for answering their phone nicely. So don't feel that you are bothering them or disturbing them at all. That's what I want to highlight here. But what you should do with this call is you should showcase a little bit of how you communicate. Make it a nice experience to talk to you. You should give them a little sneak peek of your personality, because you have their attention. So make sure you give a good impression that way. But the main thing is, the call is not for you to give. The call is for you to take. Take inspiration, take information, take notes, take all the important things that you can use to make a cover letter, an application that is better than the 93% who did not call on the job. So just a little reminder of what to do to prepare. You should, of course, read the job post and note all the questions you have. You don't have to ask them all of them, but just brainstorm all the questions that comes to your mind when you read the job ad. Check, of course, when you read down to the end that some of the questions you want to ask is not already answered. So you seem prepared and sharp in that way. And also to make sure that they don't feel that you are calling with the same set of questions to all jobs. Make sure that one or two of the questions you ask is specifically about what they write in the job post. So mix both those really good kick-ass questions that I'm going to give you soon, but also some relevant question exactly for this job. I would also say before you call, take an overview and prioritize which questions are the best. Make sure that you have the top 3 ready, and then you can just see how the call turns out. If you can throw in a bit more of the questions. Now I get the question a lot. What if there is no number to be found? What if there's only an email? Can I just email the questions? And of course you can do that, but I would always suggest you to try to arrange a call, because a call, as I said, a voice, a conversation is so much more impactful than just an email. Let's be honest, most of us, we get between 100 and 200 emails every day. So if you write an email, it's just another thing on my to-do list. I know it feels safer for you not to call and not to feel you disturbed, but you get more out of actually making the call. In today's world, a call is a lovely break, because there's so much digital and so much emailing going on. So definitely call. Now, if there's no email or no number or anything, you could actually go ahead and simply call the main number and ask who it is. But make it sound easy. Make it sound like, I have a few questions. Do you have 3 minutes for a few questions before I send my application? So that's the before. I hope it makes sense. And if not, let me know in the chat. What to do in the call? You should, of course, be positive but authentic. Don't be fake when you call. You be in a good mood when you call. Make sure that you feel like you. Of course, say your name clearly and say it's about this specific job, because the hiring manager or the one who received the call, the headhunter recruiter, can have several open posts. But say your name very clearly so they remember you. And then, of course, ask the most relevant questions first, then feel the vibe, maybe ask even further. And, of course, ask about that reference so you can add it in. I will also suggest in the call that you end positively with saying, like, make it sound like they did a good job too. Like they are approved by you. So end the call with saying, wow, Pernille, thank you so much for your lovely answers to my questions. I have to tell you, I'm still interested. And you can expect my application on Friday. So if you set up a scenery where you can actually showcase that you are to be trusted, when you say Friday, you send it Friday. That's also a good idea to get a bit ahead of the other candidates in this role. And end the call with saying, and just to make sure you got my name, it's Nisha Dunmark, and as I said, I will be applying Friday. So yeah, be clear about it after the call. Now it's also a time for you to digest and figure out, did you like it? Because it's not just you who is on trial to get the job, it's also them who's on trial to get you. Like, did you like the vibe? Do you still feel like applying? What will you focus on based on what that person said? And when will you follow up? Is there anything you can do already now to either help them, offer them, or figuring out, is there anything you can already start now reading up on? Let's say that this role has a lot of Excel work in the daily routines. can you already take a small course to freshen up on that? So that's some thoughts you can already do now after the call, but I want you to take a moment to note down while everything is still fresh, because you can't note everything down when you are in the actual call. Then you go ahead and take all that information and tailor it to your cover letter or your CV, your application in general. And I suggest you go follow the company as well. Now you're connected, and maybe even add the person. It's not sure that they accept before after the recruitment process is over. But hey, why not show interest? Then it's up to them to accept or not. And of course, apply to the date that you promised them if you are going to do that. So that's the after. I promised you some really, really bad questions that I personally have received during those 12 years as a hiring manager, and some good ones. First, the bad. Like, what is the pay? That is not the smartest thing to start with. Of course, we're interested. Of course, we're curious. And I support that some companies actually put the pay up. But maybe don't ask that as the first thing. You can always, this is a little bonus tip, a little trick, that you can always have someone else, someone you know, a friend or anything, to call them and ask for the pay. Someone who's not interested in the role. But don't you ask it as the first thing. And don't, as I said, come with this, is it a problem that I don't speak Danish yet? Is it a problem I'm not located in Denmark yet? Or all that stuff. Don't highlight what is not serving you. Only talk about what is serving you without bragging. Don't ask as the first thing as the maternity policy. It's not that I, as a hiring manager, don't want to support that, but let me get to know you before I feel I want to pay for that, of course. And don't put them on the spot yet. When you call first, they don't know when they will be done. A recruitment process, a lot can happen, so they often cannot tell you either way when you will hear back from them. But some good questions is this a new position, or am I taking over from someone? Unless they write it in the job post, it's so interesting for you to know. If it's a new position, what's the KPIs? Why did they get approved, budgeted for hiring a new person for this? What's the success criteria for the role? And if there's a history of the role, let's be honest, it could be someone who got fired and left it all a mess. It could also be someone that got promoted or quit or whatever. But you can ask this way and then get a lot of information, because it's actually two different cover letters if you are cleaning up and regaining trust with colleagues and stakeholders and all that, if it's someone who left it all a mess. And if it's someone that, or if it's a role where there's some success criteria to keep it both a role in the company, but also your role, what are they? Two different kind of cover letters, two different angles, right? You can also ask, they actually often forget to say what specific day-to-day system are they using. That could be their CRM systems, even their calendar, mail systems. So you can ensure that you write in your application that this is what you know about too. And of course, if it goes really well, if you feel the vibe is there, I have had, many of my candidates have had great success with sharing, with asking, what is the three main responsibility? What is out of the three main responsibilities? And then you have to repeat them. Communication, project management, and stakeholder management. Let's just say that as an example. Which of them would you find it most important that I focus on in my application? That can be a good question too. They can also say, I don't want to share that. I think it's up to you to decide yourself. But I actually only tried that once or twice. Most of the time, they just share whatever they find most important. So I promise you and I will give you of course, time for some Q&A. I hope that we have that, but I will just quickly tell you my tip, because I actually have several clients who got the job after they got rejection just by making a phone call. And if you do it, you will be really standing out, because it's under 1% who call on the job after they got rejected. Let's be honest, that's not what we want. We want to delete the damn email and never think about the company again. But you shouldn't. You should actually not give up. So call them and say, hi, I don't know if you remember me. We talked a few weeks ago, and I just received your rejection. Obviously, I'm heartbroken, but I'm calling to learn. And you can ask, of course, why didn't you get the job? What do you need to add on your profile? What do you need to learn to get the chance the next time they have an opening? And you can also ask, now that I have you, can you tell me why or when will you have a similar job open? Do you have anything in the pipeline? Often they will actually know that, yeah, in January we are hiring again because we have this big project and so on. So let them know, you know what, I already did my research. I like the vibe. I like the company. So you will hear from me again. Let them know it's not over for you. You could also say, like I say, I'm a part of a Career Club DK. So if you have other jobs that is outside what I am applying, I would be happy to help sharing it in my big network. Just send it to me. That's also a way to work for them even before you work for them, in a way. Tell them that they will hear from you again. But remember to thank them and follow up with an email, because that's the thing. Call works very well, but a call is out of your ear and out of your mind afterwards. So follow the call up with an email. And here is the sentence that I helped several of my candidates reopen the door after they got the rejection. What they write is in the email, of course, thank you for taking my call, blah, 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 blah. Some of the things I already mentioned here, you can write instead of saying in the call. But say the sentence. If for any reasons the one you chose turns out not to be the right one, I'm always up for another talk. Because I can tell you, 7 times in my 12 years as hiring manager, I have tried to lose the one I chose. I hired the one person and I'm maybe halfway through the training of that person. And then they come to me and say, Nisha, you're a good manager, I like the team, all that stuff. But Maersk called, or Novo, or somebody else, my dream job want me. Because the thing is, while I was sorting everybody away, so I had one person left, that one person was spreading out their talent all over the rooftops of Denmark, Copenhagen, or whatever. So, and we have the trial period, like 3 months trial period in Denmark, where they can quit from day to day, just like I can fire them for day to day. But it happens actually that a better job comes along after they sign with me. And then I have to release them. And what do? I go back in my office and cry a little bit, because I know that I will start all the way from scratch again. New job post out, receiving hundreds of CVs and applications, going through them all, having interviews, having tests, and then start the training all over again. Unless someone showed some interest and some personality and reached out to me and said, hey, reach out if it doesn't work with the one you chose. Tell me, because I'm going to go in the comments later, tell me if you have any questions for this, or if this resonates with you, if that would work. I'm really curious to hear that. And then now, if we have some time left, which I hope, I would love to hear any questions you might have. And let me go check here. If there's no time for questions, I see here, so please put them in the chat. I will go and have a look and answer everything I can. And it's been such a pleasure to share my tips with you. I hope you got a lot out of it. please share what is some good questions so we can inspire each other as well in the chat comment here. Yes.
Hi, that was amazing. Thank you for starting the webinar with such an amazing presentation and your wonderful insights, of course, that you shared. And I am pretty sure it's going to be beneficial for our viewers. Unfortunately, because of the time limitation, we cannot do the Q&As right here. But of course, I'm pretty sure Nisha is going to, reply to all of the questions personally after this. And yes, and you can connect with her for more informations or any other things like that. Or if you want to know more about jobs and how to get jobs in Denmark, everything.
Yes.
Yes,
love
Nisha. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank
And
you.
I really appreciate your time and your experience that you shared with us today.
Thank you so much, and good luck to my fellow coaches. And I will be in the chat, so keep bringing all the questions you might sit with that you didn't get answered yet. Thank you so much.
And guys, it's easy to, tag the speaker if you are addressing this question to someone, because they can always answer them afterwards as well. So try to mention them so that they know the question is for them.
Good idea. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, it's time for another exciting session, and I'd like to introduce Mr. Robert Fabrin. He's a Danish career coach and job search expert, specializing in using AI, mainly ChatGPT, to enhance the client's job searches, focusing on CVs, LinkedIn, and networking. Through his company, Arbit, he offers workshops, webinars, consulting, and private coaching. Hi, Robert. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tripti. I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're super, super excited to hear you. So I wouldn't take much of your time. Stage is all yours.
Let's get right into it. Thank you, Tripti. So before I get into the little presentation that I have created, I would like to just make the statement that in order to use AI to your advantage, you have to both be good at prompting ChatGPT, but you also have to know what it is that you want ChatGPT to make and how to make it in the best way possible. So that means that what we're going through here is how to make a CV that is perfect for the Danish market. And so I'm going to go through how to do that, and then we are going to jump right into ChatGPT to see how we can make it help us do it. So here we go. This is it, how to build a job-winning CV with ChatGPT. But the kicker, as I said before, is that you have to be an expert on both ChatGPT and how to make a CV that fits the Danish job market. So first, a short presentation about the CV in Denmark. So I have made a few CVs as examples, and they will be showcased in either side of the presentation. These are all one-pagers, but in Denmark, you usually have a CV that's between 1 and 3 pages and not longer than that. I prefer the 2-page CV, but that also depends on where you are in your career. So first off, I'd like to say that you have to view your CV as a marketing tool instead of a professional history where you sum up what you did. What's very important in a Danish CV is that you present to the reader why you are both qualified and motivated for solving the most important tasks in the job. And to know that, you have to call the person who's responsible for hiring, as Nisha talked about. And Nisha, well done. I agree with everything you said. This is the first step towards getting the job. Call the contact person. Okay, so what's important in the CV is that you stand out from the hundreds of other people applying for the same job as you. And when I say stand out, I don't mean by making your CV look cool with flowers or whatever you could put on there, lots of colors. What I mean is stand out by focusing on results, did you create anything in your latest job that would be important to know for the hiring manager at the job you are applying for now? This is key. Most people only list the things they were responsible for, but we need to focus on, hey, I was responsible for this, and in my responsibilities, I created these results. This is what's going to get you hired, as well as your motivation for working for the specific company, solving the specific tasks in the specific job. So that means that you have to customize and tailor your CV to every job that you apply for. And the reason that we do this is because the CV is read first, at least in Denmark. And consider this: if you are the one who is hiring, you will receive like 100 CVs, 100 cover letters. You start by reading the CVs, you skim them, you don't spend a lot of time. In the first draft, the cover letters might not even be read. So if there's anything that's important, it has to go in the CV to make sure that all the information that I can make the decision on is right at hand for me, because I will start by reading the CV first. So those were the key principles. So what about the content and layout of a good CV? I've made a short list of elements that you need to have in a Danish CV and an example to the right. But the most important parts of a good CV would be your professional profile, which would be placed at the beginning of your CV. And since most people read from the top, this is where they would start. And if you have their full attention in your professional profile, this is a make it or break it text. So don't make this text only about you. Make it about how you fit in the specific role and how and why you are a good candidate for solving the specific tasks in the role. That's the one thing. The other thing is that if people don't begin by reading your professional profile, they would start with reading your latest 2 or 3 experiences. And in those experiences, they are going to be looking for, has this person created some results that I would like them to create in this position as well? You can look at the presentation afterwards and see what I also think is important in the CV, but these are critical. So you need to keep it short and clear, 1 to 3 pages, not more than that. And then in Denmark, as opposed to a lot of other countries, it's a thing that you put a photo on your CV, except for when the company says, we don't want you to put a photo on the CV. We want to try and hire in a non-biased way. So the last additional tips for how to create a successful CV in Denmark would be specific. Don't be general. As specific as you can possibly be, instead of saying something like, I did this project, then try and emphasize how big a project it was, what was the budget, and what was the outcome of you managing this project. So keep your professional profile at the top. Make sure that your layout is professional and simple. I am leaning towards the conservative sides when it comes to CV layouts. That's because I know that hiring managers primarily want layouts to make them able to find what's important to them. Make sure to include the keywords that were also written in the job ad. It's both important for when you meet an ATS system, which is not that common in Denmark, but it's very important when you get read by a hiring manager as well, to see that you understand what the job is about, that you can speak in the same type of language that you will be speaking in the job. And once again, limit your CV. I can't tell you how many times I've seen CVs that were up to like 9-10 pages long, and no one is going to read them. At least in a traditional hiring process, no one is going to read them. it's very important that you can fit in a 1 to 3 page layout. Okay, I know that was a very quick and brief way of going through the CVs in the Danish job market, how to get the jobs in Denmark. But I did it to get to this point because now we have to talk about ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT, and I'm also very much aware that ChatGPT is a slippery slope. When you use ChatGPT a lot, you sound like ChatGPT and you don't sound human, and you kind of have to write something that resonates with a real human being. So first things first, when you use ChatGPT for anything, make sure that you take what ChatGPT has made and then afterwards make it yours. The main thing here is that you are no longer a writer, but you are an editor now. So that means that you have to go in to whatever you have created with ChatGPT and edit it to make sure that it sounds like a human being, that it's interesting and not just boring, because most texts coming from ChatGPT are just boring. You fall asleep while reading them. So that was just to get to how to prompt ChatGPT to make great CVs. I always use the prompting format that's called the role task format, where you give ChatGPT a role, you give ChatGPT a task to solve, and you tell ChatGPT what kind of format you would like it to answer you in. That means that if I want to create a CV, I would like to start by writing maybe an experience section. So I would have to tell ChatGPT to act as a CV writer, and that the task for ChatGPT would be to create experience sections for maybe a sales manager role. And I would tell ChatGPT how to format an experience section. And I do have a preferred way of building experience sections. So in a second, when we jump into ChatGPT, I will show you what I usually do. So the reasons that we do this is to make sure that ChatGPT understands the assignment, and that when it dives deep in its deep knowledge base, it finds the relevant information because it searches for it as a CV writer, for instance. Because ChatGPT is trained on loads of information, and we don't have any control over what it gets us if it's how to write a CV in the US or in the UK or in Denmark. So if we can be clear on how we want ChatGPT to talk to us and how to solve the problems, that's great. And if you want to be even more specific about this, we would include an example, and we would maybe even talk to ChatGPT about its tone of voice. But let's just go right into to ChatGPT. Just a second, I will jump into it right here. I have prepared some prompts for you to try and work with, that I know that Tripti will send you later on, but I will get them right here. So let me take the first prompt here, just a second, and let's go through it. This is a prompt for building an experience section with ChatGPT, and it's a long one. So I have copy and pasted it in here. And while ChatGPT is working, let's go through this prompt. So I ask it to imagine that it's a career advisor with expertise in professional CV writing, known for ability to present information clearly and directly while still maintaining a personable and engaging style. You write in the first person, crafting text that is concise, focused, and easy to read. Then I go on to talk about the task that I want to assign ChatGPT to. And so that's here. Later on, I talk about the format. So I want to have ChatGPT format the experience sections just like this: a job title, a company name, an employment period, a short company brief, and a cohesive description of responsibilities. And I want ChatGPT to end with a 2 to 6 bullet point list outlining the candidates' key accomplishments. Sorry for my English, I'm speaking fast. So I've also provided an example here. So this would be something that I would consider a good answer from ChatGPT. And so here's what's important. I will always end my initial prompts with something like, in a moment, I will give you information to work with. Are you ready? So now ChatGPT considers what it is that I want it to do and says, I'm ready, please provide the information and I'll craft the experience section accordingly. So I have prepared an experience section, well, some experiences for a CV that I don't consider to be very well crafted. I will paste them in here. So this is an IT project manager having worked for Capgemini, worked for IBM, and worked for Dell Technologies. So these descriptions are messy, and the results and the responsibilities are not properly put together. But watch what happens when I press this. Now ChatGPT begins to create the experience sections in a way that we can put in a CV, so that it's very easy for the reader to see what it is that we've done. So since this is not a real person, none of these key achievements are actually real. These are examples of how you could build your bullet points for results to make them stand out in your CV. Always make sure that what ChatGPT writes to you is true, because it will rather make up something that sounds good than say to you that I need more information to do this. So make sure that you read it through. Take it maybe from here and put it in Word, and then you can elaborate on it, and you can fix what's wrong with this. But one of the things that I would say is wrong with this is that this isn't specific enough, the company summary. So what if we say, I would like you to make the company summaries even better and more specific. Use your knowledge about the companies to do so. And ChatGPT, as it will always do, will say, no problem, I will do this. And now we get some more elaborate company profiles. Capgemini is a global leader in consulting, technology services, and digital transformation, operating in over 50 countries, and so on. Same thing with IBM, same thing with Dell Technologies. So maybe when we read this through, we will think to ourselves that, wait, well, this sounds pretty good, but it's not close enough to being written by a human being. So we could say, I would like you to make these sections sound more like they were written by a real human being, still professional though. So now this is what ChatGPT does. So to sum up, this is a tool that will easily help you save time writing your CV. But if you don't know how to write a CV, you will make a CV that doesn't stand out, that's middle of the road, that's just sounds like something that everyone else has written. but by knowing how to present your information in a CV, you will get experience sections that look like this, making it incredibly easy for the hiring managers to be able to see if you are worth their time. I do have a couple of other prompts, but since we are running out of time, I will let Tipti send them to you, and you can work with them yourselves. Try and make the best of using ChatGPT, and make sure to sound like a human being while doing it. Thank you so much.
Hello, that was amazing, Robert. Thank you so much for the presentation, and also, showing the practical approach of how they can use the ChatGPT. And yes, after the webinar, I will be adding the prompt link on the comment section, so you guys can refer to it. Yes, so it has been provided by Robert. So thank you for being so thoughtful and preparing the prompt.
Tipti, can I answer just one question that I saw in the comment section? Someone is
Absolutely.
asking, is it better to work in Canva than in Word? And I would have to say, no, it's not better to work in Canva than in Word. It's not better to work in anything besides anything. It's about if you feel comfortable working in the tool. I have made amazing CVs in Word, and I have seen amazing CVs from Canva. And I have created an online tool where people can work in my my resume templates, so that it's only a matter of, do you feel comfortable building a professional CV in this tool? That's it.
Awesome. Thanks. And yes, like I was saying, thank you for being so thoughtful and creating those prompts for our viewers today. I will be sharing the link over the comment section after the webinar, and guys, you can take it from there. Once again, Robert, thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience with us. It was a pleasure having you today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I hope the sessions keep getting better, right? Don't they? Well, let's not waste any more of our time and welcome our next speaker, Miss Leslie Petersen,
Hi.
who is a founder of English Job Denmark in 2029 to help internationals navigate the Danish job market, drawing her from own experience. With over 20 years in communication, she helps professionals improve visibility to recruiters and land jobs. And that's all we need. So, hi, Leslie. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm good. I've got a few points. I'm going to try and stick to time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't want to waste any of your time. So let's get started. The stage is all yours.
Great. And can you see my presentation, more importantly? Yeah, great. So what I want to take you through to this afternoon, this very short sort of 18 minutes, or the time that I have, is to really help you with your visibility. So think, job seekers, about how can you create more visibility so recruiters and hiring managers can find you. Why use LinkedIn to start with? Well, 3.3 million users in Denmark alone. If you think it's a country of less than 6 million, where you have to be 16 plus to even join LinkedIn, it's a really, really important platform. And out of all of the social media, it's the one that's used most by professionals for job seeking, networking, career networking, that type of thing. So there's 55 million companies listed, which is huge. Now, obviously that's global. But if you think that half of all jobs in Denmark is filled through LinkedIn, then it's a really, really important place to be on there, but also to be building your profile. And the statistics coming from LinkedIn is 71% of candidates have a higher chance of being recruited if they have a complete profile. So I'm going to highlight a few things that are really important for you to really know what you need to address and what you need to work on to improve your visibility on LinkedIn. And 97% of HR, staffing, recruiters are all using LinkedIn in the hiring process. So it's an absolutely brilliant place to find a job and be hired. So who's your target audience? That's the first thing you need to think about. So on LinkedIn, who are you talking to? So as a job seeker, you're talking to recruiters, hiring managers, companies that you might want to work in. So whenever you're posting, whenever you're adding content or you're building your profile, all the time think, who is in my network? Who am I talking to? And think about, what will a recruiter want to know about you to hire you? So that's the first question. And the second one was, tell them how you can help them. What are you offering? And why are you the best choice? So think about those things when you're building your profile and you're thinking about wanting to add to your profile and what you're sharing and commenting on. It's really important that you think about that when you're pulling all together your visibility. And the thing is, there's no point in sharing anything if you're not visible. And if you're not visible, it's because you don't have a complete profile. So if you go to your LinkedIn profile after this talk and look at your personal page, your personal profile, on there, it'll say something like 7/8 filled, or it's not. There used to be a little logo called All-Star logo on there to really let you know that you have a complete profile. Excuse me. So without that, you're not going to be seen. And then think about, what's your job title? I work with clients week in, week out as part of English Job Denmark. So I've had 20 years of experience in communications, but I've been running this organization, this business for 5 years. So I've helped professionals in all sectors, all levels, either in Denmark if you're already here, but also outside of Denmark if you're wanting to relocate. And one of the biggest things that they get wrong is their job title. So you've got to think about who's your audience. So it's a recruiter and hiring manager. What are they going to put in that search bar to find you for their next role? So for example, if you're in tech and you're a UX designer, that probably is a great job title for you. And then think about what you can add to that to really sell yourself. So you might have worked in a specific sector. You might be wanting to work for a scale-up or a startup. You might feel much more entrepreneurial than most. So thinking about what sort of target sector you want to work in, that's the sort of thing you need to add to your job title to give them a little bit more focus, a little bit more idea of what you can offer. So your job title is really, really important. Other things are your experience. I find that when I look at somebody's CV as a client, and then I want to know more about them when I go on their LinkedIn, and usually I find less. So I find fewer points. They've got more detail on their CV than they have in their LinkedIn. So it's really important that you work on your experience on your LinkedIn as well. A nice one sentence about the organization. So thinking about how does it describe the organization that's outside of Denmark? They might not know that organization. So how can they work out what you're offering, what type of organization? Was it big? Was it small? So give them some context. And then some nice bullet points about what you do on a day-to-day basis. And then we don't really talk about success. So what we talk about in Denmark is key deliverables. Those things that you've done over and above in each job. So what can you talk about that's a real selling point for you? And then think about your skills. What skills have you got listed? So get your job title, put it in the search bar and in Google, and put key skills beside it. And what are those key skills that you need to be addressing and adding into your LinkedIn? So you don't add all those skills to your job title, but what you have is those keywords throughout. So you have a keyword rich profile. So using those keywords throughout and having those on your job title as well. But the next big thing is develop a brand statement. And what I mean by that, it's like it's one statement about what you do, or how you can, how you do it, and what really makes you unique in that selling point. So I've given you a few examples on the screen of two of the guys in my network. But it's about really giving yourself this one sentence that sells you, that sets you apart from the competition. So you might be a UX designer, but what makes you a little bit special? Do you bring a global experience with you? Have you worked in a specific sector? So again, it's all about what really sells you, this one sentence that really helps you stand apart. And helps you really stand out in the field as well. And what you can do is you can add it to your job title, but also use that banner at the top of the page. So most people, especially in Denmark, will use the banner of The Little Mermaid or Nyhavn, which is a very, very famous little harbour here in Denmark. But what they won't remember to add is actually what is their job title, what are those top 3 skills that they bring to that role, and also how do you want people to connect with you. So you can add a photo to the top, you can use canva.com again. They offer free LinkedIn banners that you can use on the top of your profile. And the thing is, you haven't got a complete profile if you don't use that area. So you can add a photo, no problem at all, but make sure you add context, that you add some key points to really utilize that key space on your LinkedIn profile. And then perfect your about section. So there's 2 areas that are really, really important. The one is your job title, getting that right, but also your about section is a little bit like your little elevator pitch that you use in your CV. Now on your CV, you don't have much space. But on your LinkedIn, you have around 2,000 characters. I don't suggest you use them all, but what I do suggest is you really express a little bit more information about what you can offer a hiring manager or a recruiter. Have a nice opener, then 1 sentence. What is the one thing that motivates you about your job? What do you love about your job? What makes you want to be in the tech industry or in any other industry if you're listening in today outside the tech arena? What is it that gets you excited about that role? And then how can you summarize your job, your little bit of experience? What you don't want to do is repeat what's in your work experience further down. So you're trying to pull together some top points, X number of years in your field. What have you covered? Have you worked in certain sectors? Have you maybe worked across continents? What are you bringing that brings a little bit of an extra special to your profile? What gives the wow factor? So when people are going to read your LinkedIn bio, what they're going to find out about you, and bring in your personality, talk a little bit about maybe why you're in Denmark, why you want to move to Denmark. You know, what is it about this gorgeous little set of islands that you love the most? And what is it that you're going to bring that organization? So remember, all the time you're thinking who you're talking to. It's recruiters, hiring managers, but also potential companies. So, for example, if you make a little comment on one of my posts going forward, that gets shares within my network. And my network is full of recruiters and hiring managers, companies that I've worked with, companies that are working with my organization. They might be looking just for you. So if you make a comment, they're going to go and check your page. So here they're going to want to know a little bit more about you. They're going to want to know a little bit what type of person they're going to get. Are you going to fit into their team? So are you thinking about, are you an extrovert, introvert? Do you enjoy working remotely? What type of sector do you want to work in? Give that recruiter and hiring manager as much information about you as possible to really get excited about sending you that in message or booking that chat that Nisha's just talked about, that picking up that phone and having a chat with them before you send off an application. They're going to find a little bit more about you by having a really, really good LinkedIn profile. And then have a call to action at the end. How do you want them to connect with you? Is it with, do you want them to send you a private message? That's the easiest way on LinkedIn. Or is it a telephone call? How do you want them to connect? But give them a little bit of a call to action at the end of your bio. So here's mine. So it's a really good mix of text and bullet points, lots of white space. So lots of paragraphs and white space between bullet points, between sentences. So it's really easy for a recruiter to read your bio. So like I've said, a nice opener, a nice list of the top skills that you'll bring to an organization, a little bit about your personality, what do you offer, what makes you unique. So it's nice and short, nice and snappy, straight to the point. So it makes it really, really easy for a recruiter to read through. And then you need to share. So once you've got this brilliant profile set up, once you've got those great connections, so you've got, ideally they reckon over 500 plus connections, because that just gives you a real breadth within your industry, but also maybe some other sectors or industries that you might be interested in. And then when you're following the likes of Nisha and Diana and Helena, Robert, all these people who have got a great network themselves, when you're making those posts or talking or commenting or sharing maybe some of the content that we do, it's going to be shared as well within your network and then within our network, which is even more important. So Think about what you can talk about. You might think, gosh, Leslie, I've had 1 year or I'm a graduate. What on earth could I talk about that shows I'm an expert in my field, or it shows that I know what I'm talking about? So think about what could you comment on to start with. So if somebody shares, you're wanting to work maybe in the sustainability arena, and somebody makes a great point on that, what could you share? What could you comment on that? So that gets shared within that company's network or that person's network. If you don't feel comfortable yet to do a post yourself, what knowledge can you share? You might read an article and think, oh, that was really interesting. It's new in my field. It's where the latest is going. It's ChatGPT. If you're using, how is ChatGPT being helpful, not only just writing CVs, but maybe helping you write a post. So use it as a prompt, use it as a background to give you some ideas. And then maybe just think about using ChatGPT to give you some ideas for a post yourself as well, and just have the confidence to do it. And then this is all building your brand identity. This is all building your visibility. So it's not just on LinkedIn. You could be thinking about where else would be a good idea for you to post, maybe Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it is the arena that's going to get hiring managers and recruiters to find you, or visibility, or building your brand. But think about even having a color scheme. So here's a few examples of what I've posted over the last few years, and obviously I have a color scheme to match my website, but you could also have a color scheme. Again, you can use Canva to develop some colors, so every time you post you've got an image or a design where people are going to eventually recognize what you're doing, and it's going to also help your visibility as well. And then develop a communications plan. Think, okay, this week, as part of my job search, I'm going to maybe do a post on a Wednesday. That seems to be a good day. Or who in my connection, if you're doing your half an hour on LinkedIn every day, who's made a great comment today? Who's made a great post? Where can I comment? Where can I share? Who's going to be looking at that's really going to help me in my job search? And then, what you ideally want is for hiring managers and recruiters to find you. And then if you haven't posted any content, with 20 plus years in comms, here's a few prompts to help you. The first one is have a little bit of a headline grabber. So have this one sentence, this one headline. So if you're thinking about doing a post to show your expertise or knowledge, or sharing something that you think would be helpful within your community, it could even be about job searching in Denmark. It could be about settling in Denmark, but something that's relevant that maybe hasn't been written about before, or your experience of job searching here. But have a nice catchy headline that makes people want to read further. And please use a mix of bullet points. Make it easy, because people are also going to be reading either online on their phone or on a browser. So think about where are people going to be reading these posts from as well. So what you want is some nice white space, bullet points, nice short sentences, really being very clear about what you're going to talk about. What value can you add? And then give them a call to action. For me, it's generally about booking a consultation, sign up for my newsletter, or, come to one of my events to find out a little bit more about how I can help you in your job search. But for you, it could be, these are thoughts that I've put together about this, but would anyone have anything to add? And then hopefully your network, after seeing a few of your posts after a while, will be able to comment, add, and that's going to help you increase your visibility. So ideally what you should do is looking for a great job title. Some subheadings as part of your job title, that's really going to sell what you're looking for and what you can offer an organization. All the time you're thinking about your audience, and then think about your about section. Use those keywords. Remember, your job title plus key skills into that search bar on Google. Make sure you've got those key skills within your keyword rich profile. So make sure those words, you don't have to keep repeating them, but try and use certain words that are appropriate for the job that you're looking for within your profile. Make sure you've got the right skills. Develop your work experience to give them a bit more idea, and obviously your languages and that type of thing as well, depending on your role. And then really trying to increase your visibility by commenting, sharing, and just showing that you are their right choice, because that's what you want. You want recruiters and hiring managers to find you. And how can this help you to gain employment? Well, it's going to help your credibility. So it's going to grow. You're going to grow because it's going to help your credibility, because once you've got and understand what you're offering, or understand the type of role that you're going for, be very clear about that. So if you're in Denmark, it's not a good idea to do, oh, I could do a bit of HR, I could do a bit of sales, and then try and pitch yourself for all those different types of roles on your LinkedIn. That generalist role, that type thing doesn't work here. So be very clear about what you can offer. Your connections are going to be more able to share what you're looking for as well. So a great idea for your first post maybe is to say, hi, I'm looking for a new role. This is what I can offer you as an organization. These are my top skills that I can bring. And this is how I can help you build your organization, service, product, whatever it is, by using my expertise and skills from. Now, if you're coming as an international, remember you're offering a little bit different to a Dane. You're offering something that you've maybe a different language that might be used in that organization that you're looking for, or it might be something that you've had networking, or you've had an opportunity to live or work in a number of countries, a number of continents. And maybe some of those targeted organizations that you're looking for are specifically looking for somebody with those language and that culture background. So think about how you can help. And then your connections are going to go, great, this is a great post. I'll share it within my network to help. And then it's going to help you stand out, because that's what it's all about. It's how you can stand out versus a competition within your job area, within your sector. How can you stand out and stand out for the right reasons? So be real. Nisha mentioned it already this morning. Be real, be authentic, and just be yourself. And have the courage just to start doing your first post. And as a native English speaker, I'm a communications professional, and I sometimes make those little spelling errors as well. So don't worry about that. What people want to hear and how you can help build your visibility is by the content that you share. And if it's knowledgeable, interesting, and it's going to be helpful, then they're going to keep following and reading. And here's my connections. So my organization is English Job Denmark. We've been helping hundreds of job seekers into jobs in Denmark over the last 5 years plus. I'm on Instagram, and I'm also offering just 5 50-minute consultations for the first 5 people who scan the code and book with me. And don't worry, I'll add the link also into the chat box for the ones who can't scan, who may be listening to this on their phone. So hopefully we'll have some questions. I'll have a quick look through I've got a couple of minutes left, I can see. And let me know if you want me to cover anything again. Let's see if I can find some questions from me. Carolina, do you have any good tips for someone who's new to the industry? In my case, UX UI design. It's hard to write a nice title or about me sections when experience is limited and one is far from being an expert. Yes, Carolina. So for you, when you're writing about your about section, you can talk about maybe something that you studied or a part of your study that's relevant to what you're wanting to do now. Use some of those transferable skills, even if it's been a student job that you've learned. You'll have learned how to have bills, even if it's been working in a cafe or you've been doing a job like that. You can still use some of those transferable skills when you talk about how good you are with people, how easy you work with people, how you communicate, planning, all of those type of transferable skills that you can use. And then if you're wanting to show that you're an expert in your field, obviously with very limited experience that you've got, or if you're just a fresh graduate, maybe share a post and talk about what you like about that or what you've learned from the post. Or if you're commenting on an organization's post, what you've learned from that and how it's been helpful for you in your job search. So think about how you can utilize what is already out there that you can rehash and make a comment on. That might be able to help you. Chiara, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I don't. Do you have any tips on improving one's LinkedIn profile if any professional experience comes from academia? Yeah. Again, what have you learned in academia that lends itself now to the private sector? What are those skills that you can use? It's all about utilizing and explaining those transferable skills from what you've been doing into the private sector, and then just find out what they're looking for. Now, what are the type of organizations that you've targeted or the role that you're now targeting in the private sector? What are they looking for? And how can you answer the question? So remember when the first question I asked, who is your target audience? What do they need to know about you? And then how can you help them? So think about that when you're framing your about section or you're framing a question. How can you use those transferable skills into something new? And I think I'm up for time, so I'll happily answer any more questions in the chat box, and I'll share my details again, but I'd like to hand over now to Tripti so she can keep to time, and we can get Diana on next.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Leslie. That was an interesting presentation and session, because we all know, how much important LinkedIn has become, and the presence of LinkedIn is so much more important, I think, especially for job seekers nowadays. So thank you so much for enlightening us with such an amazing presentation on how to have like an effective and impactful LinkedIn profile.
You're great. Thanks.
I really appreciate you sharing your time and expertise with us.
Yeah,
Thank
I hope
you,
I've
Lisa.
shared enough. Nice to speak to you all. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome, right? So guys, let's keep the energy high as we welcome our next speaker, Miss Diana Lund Nordstop. With over 8 years of experience, she is a talent and mindset coach helping internationals enhance their job search in Denmark. Through Career Network Denmark Elevate, she offers group coaching and workshops focused on networking, refining job applications, and mastering interview techniques. Hello, Diana. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and I wouldn't take much of your time. So let's get started.
Thank you. It's so inspiring to just like see all of the other speakers as well. I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so I am gonna share my screen with you guys real fast so that we can get going. I'm gonna speak about networking. So that is like one of the most important things in Denmark. So I think this is going to be amazing. And one of the things that I see, oh, sorry, I'm making it smaller here. And one of the things that I think is really, really interesting here is also that when I see my colleagues here working with networking, I learn from them and they learn hopefully also from me, meaning that we can actually network with people who are in the same industry and doing the same as we do. A small thing that I would love for you guys to do before I jump in is to share something in the chat about yourself that is non-work related, something fun or interesting about you. Maybe you, I don't know, love skydiving or something else. Just share something interesting about yourself, and then I'll come back to that in a little while. So I love to see what you're gonna be sharing. So Nisha was talking in the beginning about Balisea, and one of their reports states that over 50% of jobs in Denmark are filled through networking. So that is why networking is so important in Denmark. One of the reasons, at least. I'm going to dive a bit more into why this is important, give you a bit of more deeper into why it's important. A bit about me before I do that. Sorry, I speak fast. I'm going to try not to, but I also know that there's a time crunch. So that is why. And I do want to be able to also answer some questions at the end, if possible. My name is Diana Lund Nordstop. I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, author, YouTuber, podcaster, you name it. I've tried it. I love trying new things. I love sharing my experience and my knowledge with you guys to help you reach your goals. That is also why I have Career Network Denmark and the Elevate program that I have, where I help internationals, highly educated internationals in Denmark with their job search. Career certified or TT38 certified, and then I'm married. I have a very cute dog and a cat. I promise the cat is also cute, but I'm more of a dog person. Why we have both. Okay, so you can find me on LinkedIn through this QR code, or you can just tap my name in the chat and connect with me. You're very, very welcome to do that. Okay. So fun things in the chat, anything, keep putting that in. That's amazing. Okay, networking in Denmark. Network. So when we're talking about that 50% of people or positions in Denmark are filled through networking, it is not like necessarily that Leslie has a job for me just because she's in my network, but maybe someone in her network has a job for me, right? So we're talking about networks network, in the sense that it's almost never the first connection, but it's the people they know that will have those opportunities and that will help you land that job, which is why expanding your network is really important. There are different strategies for doing this, of course, but I'm of the opinion that a huge network can be amazing, because I might not be the right person for you specifically, but then the person who is actually in my network can be interesting for you. So I can connect the two of you, even though I don't have anything to do with what you're doing. Then people need to know they're open to work. You have this amazing open to work thing on LinkedIn that you can use, but in general also your network, to be able to actually connect you with other people and show you the amazing opportunities that are out there waiting for you. They need to know that you're actually applying for jobs, right? So please let your network know that you're open to work, so that they can actually give you those opportunities and tag you when there's something interesting, or send you a private message when there's something relevant. It's also about you creating ambassadors for yourself. So one thing is that they are trying to let you know when there is something that is interesting for you, but also when there's an open position where they work, or where they hear about an open position from someone, they're like, hey, maybe this position is for Frederikke. Let me tell you about her. She's in my network. She has these amazing qualities that you will know about because you've talked about the fact that you are open to work, and she's become your ambassador, because it's really, really what's going to get you even further out in the network. And then plus points at interviews. What I mean by this is that there might be, and thank you for sharing the likes in the comments. I love it. I'm going to give you the why in just 1 second. The plus points at interviews is all about, it might be that even though there's a job ad, having that network can still mean that you'll get the job because of the network, even when it's on an open position. With that, I mean that you have plus points when you get selected from the ad, or from the pile of people that's applied, from the applicants, that was the word I was looking for. You have a more chance to get chosen if someone's already vouched for you, if someone's already said, hey, Stine is a great person, she would be really amazing for this job. So that is why you want to do that. You want to really make sure that you have those connections into those companies if possible, right? And that also goes for getting to the interview. When you then have competition with 5 other people at the interview, you already have plus points from the others because you already came recommended, right? I'm not saying it's going to give you the job, but you're going to have a better starting point with a good network into these different areas. Okay, so the reason why I want you to share your things here in the chat is because we want to create a network, right? So right now, if there's someone who's written something really interesting, we're like, oh, like Chiara, sorry, also pronunciation, she loves fencing. Amazing, that sounds so interesting. Let me go in and check her profile and maybe connect with her and have a chat about fencing. Start connecting with each other. So keep sharing even the rest of the day, and even if you're watching on the replay, if you're watching on YouTube, wherever you're watching, in the comments, keep sharing, because you can keep expanding your network with these other things that are not necessarily work related, because it doesn't need to be. Networking is important in the sense that we're connecting with people, we're getting to know them, and they might be able to help us in the longer run. Okay, so, and now there we go. So how do we create a strong network other than connecting with people like this? Be interested to be interesting. We have a oh wow, that word is gone. A lot of the times we tend to start presenting ourselves and talking about ourselves because that's easy, right? It's easier to just speak about ourselves. Whereas if we actually talk and speak about other people, ask about other people, we are more interesting. It's also what Nisha said in the beginning when we're calling. Be interested instead of just trying to talk about yourself, because that makes you interesting. We like when people are interested in us, and that is how we build good connections and good networking. So when we are interested, people will be drawn more to us as well, and creating some good connections and good opportunities. This is a quote I have from Tom Bilyeu. He's an entrepreneur, amazing to follow, really interesting actually as well. So I do recommend doing that. So before you reach out, because we're talking about networking, I do a lot of my networking on LinkedIn, of course. Feel free to reach out to me, but you can also, of course, reach out in person, which is a great thing. But before you reach out, I really want you to think about these few things. What is your goal? So networking should actually be something you do. It's a long-term strategy. You should do it even though you have a job or have your own company or whatever you have. You need to be networking all the time, because it's not just what's going to get you the next job. It's also what's going to get you the next and the next and the next. Creating those good connections is going to be really, really important. So what is your goal right now? But also, what is your long-term goal? Is your goal to land a job right now? Or is your goal to actually create interesting connections? Is your goal to sell? On LinkedIn, you'll meet a lot of people whose goal is to sell something to you. But what is your goal with this? Because when you know your goal, it's easier to create a strategy based on that. So you're not just doing something like blindfolded, which a lot of people end up doing. Then when you look at a person, when you found a person, like, why is this person interesting to you? For example, with the fencing or the climbing or martial arts, I see here in the comments as well. These things like, oh, we have something common. I'm going to connect with you. And if you can't connect through a connection request on LinkedIn, if that's where you are, then do it in a private chat afterwards, right? But know why this person is interesting to you, because then it's easier to approach them. Or you have something common you can talk about in the beginning, at least. And then what value can you add? What value can you add? Wow, it's going well today. Think about, before you reach out to a person, can I in some way create value here? And sometimes the value add can be just a comment in the chat, for example, here. That's amazing. You see all of us be like, yay, it's so amazing that you're commenting, right? That's a value add. It can also be, oh, I read your article on this. It was really interesting. If you're meeting up in person, I really loved your jacket. You saw Leslie was talking about personal branding. You saw my profile picture, both in the chat, but also here on the presentation here live. My blue jacket. My personal brand is my blue jacket. So if you come up to me and say, if we meet at live event, hey, Diana, I love the blue jacket. Or, hey, I noticed you based on the blue jacket. That is a value add to me. So it doesn't have to be big and elaborate. I hear a lot of people like, oh, I can't add anything because I'm freshly out of college, or I don't really feel like I have any value in this context, whatever. There's always small things. So if you don't feel you have anything super work related, then go with compliments. Never lie. It's important that you actually mean it. But how do you add value? Reach out. So how do you actually reach out? Again, be interested. So reach out with the compliment, or a compliment actually does it a lot of the time. Or I would love to know more about this thing you keep speaking about. Use the common interest, like I already spoke about. That's what we're doing here. So also keep them coming in the comments. There might be someone who has a very, very obscure interest, just like you, or who will find your obscure interest very, very interesting. And then create the value again. So reach out with those things in mind. these are the best ways. I hear a lot of people like, oh yeah, I'm reaching out and I'm never getting any response. A lot of the time it's because you're reaching out with your own agenda in mind, more than like, how can I create value? How can I connect? How can I create some common connection here? Where to reach out? So a lot of places. Start with the people you know. A lot of people don't think about the people they know. For example, I could reach out to my sister. She has a network as well, right? And she knows people I don't know. And maybe one of the people that she knows is relevant for me. So think about, like, start with your inner circle and then work your way out. Organizations, unions, when there's events and when there's things like that, go into, at their events, join their events, all of these things. Events, professional, but also private events. When you're speaking to someone at your Aunt Martha's 80th birthday or whatever it is, that's also a way to connect with people. Job fairs, of course, more business related, but it can also be the people who are also there. In the comments, here I'm talking about LinkedIn again. So connect with people by chatting with them in the comments, by commenting on their posts, getting noticed by them, and then connect with them afterwards. What to do? So start the conversations, for example, in the comments, but also go up to people. Be well prepared when you do that at physical events as well. Create the value. I keep coming back to value. I'm sorry. I know I've said it like a million times already, but it is so important. Coffee meetings. I would love to know if you've been at a coffee meeting. I'm going to write a note afterwards saying coffee meeting. If you've attended a coffee meeting, please like that comment, because it's something that seems to be fairly unique to Denmark, but it is so much a great opportunity to get to know people and to create that bit deeper connections that will create those ambassadors for you when you're networking, that then again will help you get those jobs that are sometimes never posted anywhere, so they can be really hard to find, right? And then the job seeker next to you might be your new colleague or your new boss. Think about this. I see a lot of job seekers who are attending job seeker events where they're like, oh, it's not necessary that I come and show up like I would at a job interview, or that I can just show up in my sweatpants, basically. And it's like, no, please don't do that. It's getting better. I don't know. But please think about every networking event, even networking events with other job seekers, as a great opportunity, because it might be your next boss or your next colleague who are there and who can then help you. Another thing I thought about while I was watching my colleagues before here is that also connect with the people. I think I mentioned it already actually a little bit, but connect with the people who are doing the same thing as you are, because they have other industry knowledge that could be relevant for you, and you're not the same person. So you will, of course, probably be applying for the same kind of positions, but you can also support each other and help each other. And once one of you got a job, that person will be so willing to help the others as well. So keeping that, like, focus on also helping people and networking with people, even job seekers in your own industry, can be so very, very important. I have no idea where I am on time. I'm sorry. I think I'm okay with time. I am so open for any questions. Here again, connect with me on LinkedIn. You're very, very welcome to do that. I know I've rushed a bit through this, but I'm so excited. So yeah, that's my presentation basically. So if you guys have questions, please write them in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them.
Hi. Meanwhile, let's wait for a minute. If we have, let's see if we have any questions upcoming. Otherwise, you can always go back to the event page and then answer the questions, of course. But yes, I think Blue Jackets stole the event. Showstopper.
And that is why I do it, right? And it's like, it can be
Absolutely.
that blue jacket, or it can be, I had a candidate who, when she was at physical events, she's a biologist, right? She had earrings where one earring was a, what's it called? Not a telescope. Yeah, a telescope. And the other one was a DNA strain. And when you stood there and talked to her, it was so eye-catching. It was like, you remember that person. So these
Yeah.
small things that can be very, very relevant to catch people's eyes. Of course, you also want to be interesting and interested when you're speaking with people. How to get a coffee meeting? Ask for it. Start with your inner circle and then work from there, because the people you either know or are connected to in some way, where you already have a connection, where it's not, I'm going to say, just a LinkedIn connection, they'll be more likely to say yes. If you have, it can be you studied at the same university. It can be, I don't know, you both go to soccer practice, or again, look through the chats. Are there anyone who is saying something interesting about their hobbies and what they've been doing? Like, oh, this is so interesting. I would love to know more. How about grabbing a cup of coffee, either in person or online? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. It's and okay, small thing here. It's really, really important to remember, and this can become harder the longer you're a job seeker, the longer you're unemployed. It's not you. When people say no, 99.9999% of the time, it's not about you. It's about them not having the time. It's about them being like, maybe not seeing the value for them.
Yeah.
About you, that's still about them, right? So people to not ask for coffee meetings, the people you're seeing here, like job consultants who get paid for this. So like you said, so Leslie, she offered 5 sessions for free. Amazing. But in general, we don't do coffee meetings. HR people, unless you are in HR, hiring managers. So managers who is actively hiring at the moment. Don't ask them, because it's going to seem like a bit like cheating, like you're just trying to get an unofficial interview for the position. You can ask managers who are not hiring at the moment. That's fine, but just not when they are actively hiring. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Can I do the last question here, and then give it forward?
Let's do it. Yeah.
How do you network with people at professional events without coming off as too aggressive to network? Sometimes talking about hobbies feels like maybe I'm wasting the person's time, even though I'm curious about their life. We might not have much time. So be interested. So instead of like, have some good starting questions where you're like, I'm actually giving you the ball. I'm letting you talk. Because people usually don't get tired of talking about themselves. That's unless you're like very, very introverted, it might be an issue, right? But there's a whole other different strategies for that. That could be an interesting topic for another job fair, by the way. But really ask questions, and maybe ask questions where you're like, that they don't see coming. So, how are you? What do you do for a living? Those are kind of like basic questions, right? And they're fine questions, but what makes you happy in life? That could be I've tried that a few times. It kind of stumbles people sometimes. So maybe just like feel if it's something where like, this person doesn't seem happy in general, maybe I should not ask that question. But ask questions where it's like, oh, I did not see that coming. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
You're at an event about job search. So what's been the job search strategy you've had the most success with? I would love to hear that. Because it's something, or it's a bit different, right? Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
I will answer questions in the chat as well, and feel very, very free to connect with me. Remember, there's a follow, but if you go onto the 3 dots, there's also a connect button. So feel free to connect. I would love to have a chat with you guys as well.
Yes, and it's all about networking, guys. Build your network, build your connections, and I think that'll make your job search much more easier and effective.
Yeah. I
And
could
thank
not
you,
agree more.
Diana.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for your time and your experience that you shared with us today. It was a pleasure having you with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, guys, be with us because there are a couple of more sessions for you all, my lovely viewers. So be sure that you stay until the end. Now, please join me in welcoming our next speaker for today, Miss Helena Livison. Hi, Helena. Are you there?
Yes, I just didn't. I just didn't have my camera on. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello. So she is known as the queen of UX and has been raising UX standards for over 7 years. She founded CPH UX, Denmark's largest UX community, which includes a UX focused job board and event calendar. With 400 plus events organized and 2 job market reports published, she offers valuable insights into Denmark's UX scene. Helena is also known for her positive spirit and dedication to improving the industry. And I think I said UX, I don't know how many times, so I don't want to say UX anymore because I think I'll start fumbling.
You know what? I say UX so many times every day that I don't blame you. So it is what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I don't want to start fumbling, just with the 2 alphabets U and X. But yeah, I don't want to take your time as well, Helena. The stage is all yours, and super excited to hear you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And please let me know in the comments who is actually in UX, and then I will share my screen and we'll see how that will go. Oh, I can actually choose which window. Ah, no. The funny thing is, we practiced this, but it's apparently still difficult. So here you go. Can you see my screen now? I can't see you guys, so that's why I'm asking. So I have the talk. So you want a tech job in Denmark, and this should probably have been the first talk, but oh well, because I wanted to do a more all-round insights about what the tech job market is actually like in Denmark. So as Tripti said, I am Helena Silmer Levison. I got married, so I got a new name. That's always hard to remember. But I am known as the queen of UX, again, because I'm actively working on raising the industry standard of UX design in Denmark. So why am I speaking today? I founded CPHUX, Copenhagen User Experience. We're the largest community in Denmark. I create and curate the only UX-focused job board and UX event calendar in Denmark. I created 2 job market reports where we really drilled in on what is going on in the industry based on all the jobs that we were uploading to the job board, but also the salary survey that we've conducted. And I facilitated more than 400 events in the UX space in Denmark. So I know a bit or two about that. And currently I'm developing a course for job-seeking UX professionals. So that's why I feel like I have a lot of stuff to bring to the table, and you probably already figured out that I'm very much into UX, but I do feel like some of the things. Oh, I'm also passionate about UX tech and the startup industry, and I think that's very important to being able to speak wider than just UX. So I took in this overview. It's Hey Funding that has made this to just share a little bit of light about all the different spaces that are happening in Denmark, in Copenhagen. This is all over Denmark, and I think that there's just so much great energy to have and to explore. So do go to Hey Funding's website if you want to dive deeper into this overview of the Danish startup ecosystem. Some of the key sectors in Denmark at the moment is an IT consultant. We have a lot of consulting houses, so that's definitely a way to go. Software development, there's always people who need some things developed, so that's a good place to be. AI is definitely taking a rocket turn in Denmark. FinTech is also a strong one. Green tech, health tech, and robotics, which is actually specialized in Odense in Fyn. So if you're into robotics, then that is the place to kind of explore more. So if you don't really know that much about Denmark, I was like, perhaps it's nice to like put a little map about it. So Copenhagen is this area over here. That's where I live and love being the capital area. Then we have the second largest city, which is Aarhus, which is in Jutland. And don't get it twisted. Like it takes like 3 hours to take the train perhaps a little bit more to Aarhus from Copenhagen, and it actually only takes you 1 hour from Odense to Copenhagen. So there's yeah, we're not that big of a country. That's just my point. So don't be scared by that. In all of these greater cities, people speak English, so it's easy. But of course, when you get to the north of Jutland and to the west side, people just don't use it that much, and there you will definitely find people who have problems expressing themselves in English. It's funny because what I actually hear most from my expat friends that are trying to learn Danish is that Danish people are so nice that they always just switch over to English when they can hear you struggling a bit. So that sometimes makes it hard to actually learn it. But oh well. Skills that are in demand in the job market at the moment is, of course, software development, UX, UI skills, AI and data science, cloud infrastructure. So yeah. And I want to talk a bit about the difference between working in Denmark. Of course, it's hard from a Danish perspective, but this is what I've seen talking to expat. So, and of course, businesses. But the work-life balance, especially people coming from the UK, that's where I've heard it the most. It's like the work-life balance is so off, and that is a major focus in Denmark. And if you stay at the office longer than 4 or 5 in the evening, people are going to be like, are you okay? Are you stressed? Do you have too big of a workload? So it's actually like, it's a real thing that we really care a lot about, and we care about the well-being of employees. Then we have a very flat hierarchy. So we don't focus that much about titles. You can literally go into the most companies and talk directly to the CEO without there being a big fuss about that, because we see each other as very equal. And we collaborate a lot, so we appreciate reaching out for collaborations more so than you stepping on some weird hierarchy thing, because it's not really as much of a thing in Denmark, of course, depending on the company. Flexibility is a big thing that was obviously impacted by COVID, and remote work and flexible hours has become very, very common, and I would say the standard of what people should expect. So there's always room for flexibility, and I should probably not say this publicly, but like, I don't think my husband's job knows that he doesn't always put in all the hours, because he gets the work done, and that's what matters. He's a tech guy. And then trust and responsibility. I like the term like freedom with responsibility. So, I mean, if I give you freedom and I trust you to do your job, as long as you don't break that trust, then we're good. And then it's only going to get stronger and stronger, and you're going to have more freedom and responsibility to do different things. So where can you find jobs? We have a place called The Hub that is made by one of the largest Danish banks. I think they got merged or bought or something, I don't know. But this is a great place where you find all different types of tech jobs. So they go there, great resource, and also really nicely designed with a tracking, like an application system for you as well. Then there's a Job Index, very classic, one of the old school job portals. And of course, LinkedIn is a job board that is being used a lot in Denmark. I see companies that will put their jobs on LinkedIn before they put it on the internal page, which I think is completely ludicrous, but okay. And there are actual jobs that will never be posted on their own websites, but only on LinkedIn or Job Index, right? And then, of course, if you're into UX, go to CPA2X job board. We are the only one in Denmark that is focusing on that. We've already had like some of the other speakers talk about your material, so I'm not going to go deep into it, but I did think that I wanted to make a list of things that I thought was important. And the headline is like tailoring your application, because as Robert talked about in the beginning, well, whatever. Sorry. Tailoring your application to the job is super important. I would say your CV should maximum be 2 pages. Again, we know that you're not trying to tell your entire work story. You're telling the most relevant one for this specific job. And you could always, and what I would do is say, if you want to see my full work history, you can go to LinkedIn. And then you could also write, I have like 5 more experiences. It's more important that you actually show what this is the best line in my mind. What did I do at my old company that I can now do for you, or at my education that I can now do for you as an employer? So that's what you want to convey, and that's more important than having all the jobs in there. A cover letter should maximum be half a page to one page. I'd say if you have a full page, that's too long. And again, remember that the cover letter is not you reciting your CV. It is literally saying, it's storytelling. Like, why is it that you're fitting this role? Why are you passionate about their company? I think that's something that people overlook again and again. Remember, the people that are reading your application, they said yes to a job in this company, so they've already bought in. So when you compliment the company, you're also indirectly complimenting their choice of where they wanted to work. So and then share experiences of like, what did I do at the other companies that I can now do at your company, and be result focused. So like saying, how much did you, not just saying I did this big project, but yes, but what did that project do? What did you what impact did you make? Yeah, always tailor your material to the job. Highlight relevant skills and experience for each role. Let your personality shine through. And I think that's really the important one. I think that was also what Diana so beautifully wanted to kind of get you guys to post about. What is your interest is besides your professional interest. Try to weave that in, because who knows, perhaps I have an example of a guy who's really into tennis, and he wrote that in his job application. And then apparently everyone was like, in that company, they had like big tennis matches, and they were just like really tennis nerds. So he actually ended up getting the job, and that was really an asset. And of course, you never know what they are interested in, but just being yourself, that is also like, when you send out this application, you're trying to get like a yes swipe on Tinder. You're not trying to get married. So it's that, like, we're trying to get invited to the next stage of the process, not signing the final contract. Be authentic. Danish employers appreciate openness and direct communication. So if you have a problem, come and tell them. And I think that really speaks really neatly into what Nisha was talking about in the very beginning. Like, come and ask us great questions. Because that also shows that you can be direct in your communication. And of course, when you're in the interview, ask more questions again, and like be direct, because that is a appreciated skill. And display your soft skill. We appreciate people who can work with other people, because I think most jobs you will be collaborating with other people. It's very rarely that you'll be sitting in like a little basement by yourself and just like coding away or something. You need to be able to communicate and collaborate and adapt to other needs and all these things. So like showcasing that, not just the hard skills. And I didn't write this down, but I think this is a great tip that I once got. If you ever ask like, what are your strengths and your weaknesses, your strengths should always be your soft skills, because and your weaknesses should always be technical skills. Because soft skills, if that's a negative thing, we can't change that. That's who you are as a person. Technical skills, we can learn those, so they're great as weaknesses. So the next thing is the power of networking. I freaking love networking. I love LinkedIn. Be visible, attend industry events, meetups, conferences, go out and be there. If you're not in Denmark, you can still attend things online like you're doing today. And of course, LinkedIn is key. Build a strong profile and engage with the community. So again, if you've attended events like this, take some screenshots, make a little post about it, and be like, it was just super great. And again, what we're trying to do on LinkedIn is like sharing insights, like making your knowledge accessible for other people. So saying like, oh, I learned this and this and this, so that other people who were not here today can be like, oh, that's a great tip, I should totally do that as well. So people are like, oh, that guy, he's really, really great. We should perhaps like talk to him about this because he can do something for us here. So share your knowledge. And of course, the CPHX event is a great source of networking. And in our calendar, we also have events that are not ours. But again, do attend these things and be aware of what's going on. And be proactive. Reach out directly to people from industries. Again, I think always, when you add people on LinkedIn, add them with a comment. And as Diana said, the 3 dots, then you have like one that's like, I think it's like personal connection or something like that, and then you can write even from the phone, which people think, because that it provides context. And I think it was Diana as well, or perhaps Leslie, who said like add a compliment at first. Whenever you reach out to people by complimenting them, they're like, I like this person. This person sees me. And also, like, if you can find something that's you have in common, I think that's a great way to stand out. So I can't do this talk without talking a little bit about the UX job market, because I don't know anything. I know something, but like not in general about all of the tech industry in Denmark. But the UX job market, I do know some things about, and I can tell you that the war in Ukraine and COVID, I don't know if it like directly overlapped, but when we saw the war in Ukraine break out, jobs went from, we had 50 to 60 job postings a week, and that went down to 5 to 10 maximum, and that was very kind of stable for a long time. Now we're back up at like 20, 25, 30 on a really good week. So it's like coming back, but it's been a slow and steady climb. And of course, we have accumulated more people looking for jobs in the UX than the market has been hiring. So there is a lot of demand for jobs, and not as much demand for talent as there was in the back in the days. But no matter if you're having a lot of people that you're applying for, or you have few, you still have to make sure that your material is in order. So I really do encourage you to do that. CPHX is, as I said, largest UX community in Denmark, and we're actively working on helping people expand their knowledge about UX, but also their network, and introducing them to a lot of different people. Networking has a bad rep. Think of it as making professional friends. That is, it takes away so much pressure from it. And again, it's when you would meet any other person and make a friendship. So think of it like that. And then also remember that networking is like a door. I can show you all the doors in the world, but if you don't walk through them, if you don't do the work of adding them on LinkedIn, writing them a message, even like when you're talking to a person, adding them on LinkedIn while you're talking to them, so they're like, oh, we should connect. Like, this is a great conversation that we're having. If you don't do the work, then that connection just dies right away. So it's super important to actually do the work. So CPHX, we help UX professionals build their networks through events, start sharing a network. Currently developing the course Land Your Dream UX Jobs. So that's me trying to share all my knowledge about what hiring managers have been telling me and what the real struggles of UXs are into something that you can go and actually work. It's not ready yet, so that's why it says currently developing. And join our community to connect with like-minded professionals in Denmark. The takeaways from this talk: research and target the right companies. So find them and make sure that you're approaching them the right way. Adapt your application to fit Danish expectations. So don't write dear ma'am and sir. Like, Danish people just like, we die a little when people approach us like that. So just like, even if you don't know who the person, of course, if there's ever a name attached to that, I always write, if there's like Rikke, then I'm like, hi Rikke and team, because then I'm implying more people will probably read this. And if there's no person like attached that's like that I can send my application to, I'm always like, hi amazing people at Lego, because then they're like, yes, I am an amazing person. So again, like bringing that positivity in there. Build your network through events and platforms like LinkedIn and CPHX, and understand the work culture to succeed in your new role. And that is, of course, more when you're in it, but it's very much in the process of getting the job that you can understand that and ask those questions. And again, if your gut feeling is telling you this is not a good job, then don't apply for it. Now I'd like you to take your phone out and scan these QR codes. I've made a LinkedIn guide for people who struggle with that, and yeah, with just like some advice that I wish that I had gotten when I started working on LinkedIn. And then of course add me on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna turn it off now. So if you haven't scanned it yet, then then tough luck.
That was interesting and super fast and still super engaging and, informative, I would say. And love your picture on the LinkedIn QR. That's such a happy picture. Yeah.
It was
I'm
a
like,
picture
no
that I
doubt.
took to my son, so that it was like it's actual genuine joy of like sending a photo to my little baby boy.
No doubt, you are known for your positive spirit. So, yeah, it was just coming through the screen to me.
I love that. Thank you so
Absolutely,
much for
absolutely.
being for making space for me today, and thank you all for watching. And please connect and ask questions as well, like Nisha and all the other people said.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, if you have any questions, please, we'll wait for a second here. For a minute. A second is too less of a time. For a minute to see if we have any questions upcoming. Otherwise, you can always go back to the event page and, see the questions and answer them manually. But guys, if you are addressing to any speakers, if you're watching the sessions later, please address to the right speaker. Like, you can tag them and then you can shoot your question so you can get the answers correctly. Yeah. And yeah, Helena, I think I really would like to appreciate your time and your experience that you shared with us, and the knowledge that you shared about UX. I think I'm going to say it for the one last time about the UX job market in Denmark. So yeah, thank you so much. Loving your energy.
You're
And I
welcome.
hope to see you soon someday.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
You too. Bye bye. Well, I guess the energy is still high, right? So don't go anywhere because we do have our last but not the least one more session for you all. So join me in extending a warm welcome to our last speaker for today, Mr. Dhruvraj Solanki. He is a talent advocate at a high-tech talent platform, and he is here to explain how you can secure your next role through this particular platform. Hi, Dhruv. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Tati?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. I wouldn't take your time, and you can start with your presentation.
Sure, definitely. Thank you. All right, so I believe everyone has enjoyed our sessions so far, and for this session, I'm just going to cover out high-tech talent, that what it is and how it is helping the tech candidates as well as the tech companies in order to just have a right candidate or the right job opportunities for them. So yes, as the name suggests, high-tech talent, it is a tech-focused job platform. So all the positions that we are having and the companies that we are having, that would be mostly focused on the tech side. And also all the companies that are participating in our events, that might be virtual or physical, they basically do the hiring from our events itself. So there we do have this physical events as well, but we have seen that many of the candidates are unable to attend those events or insert the webinars as well. So we have just created this platform so they can just have their profile on our platform itself, and they can just have their right opportunity right from our platform itself. And also all the registrations for this job fairs and all the things are done from a high-tech talent platform itself. So it is not only beneficial for the candidates, but it is also beneficial for the companies as well. So yes, it is a part of Tech Job Fairs. So as you all are aware about Tech Job Fairs, you all are invited for this event through Tech Jobs Fairs. So yes, High Tech Talent is a part of Tech Job Fairs, and we connect skilled tech talents in around 16 plus countries. So no matter where you are located, let's take an example. Currently, we are having the webinar for Denmark, but no matter you are located in US, UK, Canada, Europe, and if you are looking for your next right opportunity, you can just create your profile on High Tech Talent, and also not through the events also, but we can just help you to get your job from our platform itself. So basically benefits for talents. So these are some few steps. You just need to create your profile. You just need to go through the screening round, and your profile would be visible for the companies, and they can just reach out to you. So yes, definitely it is a one-time profile creation, and you would have 100 of job opportunities, and you can also join multiple TJF events. So as you create your profile on HireTech Talent, you would be notified about this upcoming TJF events as well. As I told you, we are having this on regular basis for different locations as well. So you would be notified once you have your profile on HireTech Talent itself. So these are the 4 simple steps on HireTech Talent. All you need to do is create your profile and complete your profile. After you just complete your profile, you just need to go through the screening round with our team of talent advocates. And after you have been through that round, your profile would become visible, and the companies would reach out to you for the open jobs that they are having with them, and ultimately you would be getting hired. And definitely it is free for all the talent. So there are neither any premium features on our platform. All the features that we have on our platform are free, and all the candidates can utilize them. So reverse recruiting platform. So let me just help you out with the concept of reverse recruitment. So traditionally what we do is we just apply to various jobs, we reach out to various companies, we reach out to various HRs and just apply to various jobs. But whereas in reverse recruiting, it's the companies who just reach out to the candidates, it's vice versa. So instead of you applying to various jobs, here the companies would apply to your profiles. So yes, we are a reverse recruitment platform for tech, sales and management jobs. And I would say the top listing jobs are somewhat like software engineering, DevOps engineer, UI UX designer, quality assurance engineer, and many more. So if you are in any of this field, I would highly recommend you can just create your profile and try to have your next opportunity on our platform itself. So yes, there is a question. Do you hate cover letters? So yes, definitely I'm also not against in the cover letters as well. So it's like you need to create multiple cover letters. So let's take an example. If you are applying to 10 jobs, you might have a scenario you just need to alter your cover letters as per the job description or the requirements as well. So you might not lose your time on applying and adding cover letters to various jobs and just wait for the reply from the companies and the HRs. So yes, definitely we have just noticed a few hiring problems that have been happening between the companies and the talent. So here are a few listed. That is the lack of transparency, lack of efficiency, and lack of technical misunderstanding. So coming to the transparency point, it's like if any companies reach out to you, if you are seeing a job description from any of the companies, there might be some hidden things in there as well that they have not listed on the job description part or any other details from the companies on the job description part. But on our platform HireTech Talent, once you are reached out by the company, the company's description would be there, the whole job description would be there. So there would be a complete transparency between the candidate and the companies. And also we do have a custom coding challenge integrated on our platform itself. So if any of the companies are willing to have a custom coding challenge with the candidates, they can just do that from our platform itself. And if the talents can also just have their coding challenges completed on our platform itself. So definitely that would just be helpful for the companies to see that how the candidate is efficient, and they would just be helped by this process also. So these are some solutions. So we pre-screen the talent profiles before approving on HireTech Talent. So yes, there you just need to go through the pre-screening round once you have just created your profile on HireTech Talent, and once you have been through the pre-screening round, your profile would then become visible on the HireTech Talent platform. So there is a in between step, that is personal interview and the skill assessment, that is done by our team of talent advocates itself. And as a result, the companies would be getting actively seeking new candidates as well. The candidates would be getting active jobs in the market. Also, the companies would have technical capable candidates, the candidates which are cultural fit, and the candidates with linguistic ability. So yes, definitely we do have this on our platform, that the candidate has to add and update all of their tech stack, the tools and technologies that they have been utilizing in their career. They just need to list out each and every detail, and also the languages that they are proficient with and well versed with, which as per their comfort level, where they are able to speak, they can just add that up on our platform itself. So we are just showcasing this information to the companies as well. So the companies would have a better understanding about your technologies, the tech stack, your experience, also the languages that you are well versed with. So basically how it works. So all you need to do is add your profile and create your profile and complete your profile 100%. After that, you would just need to be through the screening rounds, and the approved candidates would be visible to the companies. So once you have been through the screening round and all your profile is 100% complete, your profile would be visible for the companies in order to reach out to you. And definitely then the companies would apply to the talents they like, and ultimately the talents would and they would be ultimately giving the offers to the talents as well. So yes, we have provided many filters for the companies in order to source their perfect matching candidate. So as I told you, that we have many features about the tech stack, the linguistic ability. So we have provided many such filters so that can help the companies in order to just have a precise and right candidate that they are looking for. Yeah, here is a bit of comparison for other job platforms and higher tech talent. So on other job platforms, this other job platform basically functions as job listing platforms, whereas higher tech talent functions as a reverse recruiting platform. As I told you earlier, what is reverse recruiting? So on other platforms, candidates need to apply to job listings, but whereas on other hand, on higher tech talent, companies will initiate the contact with the talent. So it's like, as I told you, the companies would just apply to the talents if they like your profile. So candidates have to, on the other job boards, the candidates have to repeatedly apply for different positions. Whereas on higher tech talent, it's a one-time profile creation and companies will apply to the talents. Whereas on other platforms, you need to update resumes and CVs for each and every application. Whereas on higher tech talent, you just need to keep your profile regularly updated. So let's take an example. For now, you have just have your hands on the job that you are looking for. So we have a provision on our platform where you can just turn off your visibility for your profile while you have your job now. And after 1 or 2 years or 6 months, if you are back in the job market and looking for a job, you can just turn profile visibility on. So the companies would be able to view your profile. And I would highly recommend you, once you just turn on your profile visibility, you can just update your recent experiences so the companies can have a better understanding about your experiences and they can just reach out to you accordingly. Whereas, so the next point is candidates receive irrelevant interview calls, whereas on higher tech talent, the talents get the exact or similar calls as per the requirements. Yes, so there might be a scenario that the candidates are receiving irrelevant calls as the functioning of the different job platforms are different, as they just set out different candidates for different such things that the companies are entering in. So once any company is adding a string and they have a bulk of candidates, they just try to reach out to without knowing your preferences, your salary expectation and all the things. So definitely you would be receiving irrelevant calls, but on higher tech talent, all the details are already displayed. So the companies would have the exact thing that they require the exact amount of experience, the exact amount of tech stack, and what are their basic requirements. So you would just get the exact amount of calls from the companies. So let's talk about the other points. So the candidates wait for the interview invites from the companies, whereas on higher tech talent, talents can choose which interviews to accept. So yes, once you apply for the job, you just need to wait for the companies, the interview invites from the companies, whereas on higher tech talent, once you have created your profile, you would have the interview invitation from the company. So that interview invitation, as I told priorly, that would contain the whole and sole description of the company, the whole and sole job description as well. So you can just accept or reject the interview round as per your preference. If you want to accept, you can just go with that. And if you want to reject, you can just wait for your next right opportunity. So companies listed on the other platforms, they are from various industry types, whereas the companies listed on higher tech talent, they are basically tech focused and strictly tech focused. So as I told you, we are a tech focused job platform. So companies that we are having are mostly of the tech side, and you would be getting the tech invitations only. So on the other platforms, you would have limited job application interactions, but on higher tech talent, opportunities for networking with employers who view your profile. So yes, definitely there would be a limited interaction while you have applied on other platforms. But whereas on Hire Tech Talent, once you accept the interview round, there is a chat section open for you, so you can just communicate directly with the hiring managers or the companies that are hiring, and you can just have a better understanding about the roles and responsibilities, or you can just get any of the details that you would require from the companies and you can just have a faster conversation as well. And coming to the last point, the response time is dependent upon the companies, whereas on Hire Tech Talent, the response times from the companies may happen more quickly. Yes, definitely. So the companies would have many, I would say, if they are posting a job, if they are looking for a job, they would have many resumes. They might be looking out for various candidates, and they would have also received ample amount of resumes and applicants to them. So they just need to filter out all those, and just they need to grab onto the best candidate that they are looking for, and that might be time consuming for them as well. But whereas on Hire Tech Talent, as I told you, we have just provided the precise filters for the companies, so they would have the opportunity that they can just shortlist the candidate as per their requirements more quickly, and you would have the better response time as well. All right, so I believe that's it for this presentation. Thank you so much for joining in. And if you have any further questions, queries, you can just surely drop us an email on support@hiretechtalent.com, and we would be happy to help you and guide you regarding any confusions or any details you require. Also would recommend you, it would be great if you can just have your profile 100% completed on Hire Tech Talent, so we can just help you finding your next job over here.
Thank you, Dhruv. That was an amazing presentation and well informed. So, guys, now you know the platform serves as a dedicated platform connecting both job seekers and employers. So, as Dhruv mentioned, please complete your profile 100% on the platform to make your job search more effective. Once again, thank you, Dhruv, for joining us and enlightening us about the Hire Tech Talent platform. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you so much, Sati.
Awesome. Now, this brings us to the end of our sessions and the webinar. So I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for this commitment and joining us today in making this webinar a success. Without your support, this wouldn't have been possible, because your participation and your support is very, very crucial for us. And once again, thank you to each and every one of you who took the time out and joined us today. For those who missed the chance to watch these sessions live, please don't worry about it. If you're just watching it or if you just joined us, please be stress-free, because the sessions will be recorded and it will be available on the event page even after the webinar is over. So once again, thank you all for joining us, and I hope this webinar helps you and it was of great benefit, and I hope you get the better understanding of the hiring process in Denmark now. And all the best to each and everyone for your future endeavors. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.